the officiating in that game was absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, let's be fair. No matter how bad we played, we didn't get there was a get out of jail free card that we should have been given. Stonewall. If all I'm going to say on it is if Man United do that, that's a penalty.
I mean, it's so infuriating. 2 reasons. Not even just against us. The officiating that game was dreadful because the referee sent off Eric Peters
for a shoulder.
For the you would but it's not as if the arm was raised. It was a dreadful standard of officiating both ways. Burnley, I mean, Peters should never have been shown a red card anyway. I know it was reversed, but dreadful. And our penalty was the most blatant handball I've ever seen. You can't put your arm out like that, and he's palming the ball. It's ridiculous. And then you look back to last night of the Fulham game, the other night of the Fulham game. His line is done by his side, and he gets handball. It's disallowed.
That's going.
I want to scream and shout.
It's so infuriating.
He wasn't saying scream. That's the point. If you say, look, we think you've made a mistake, we don't think it's handball. I think the Premier League said that it was too close to him to react, which is bollocks anyway. But send him to the screen. If you think he's made an error, let him go.
You should at least check it. You should at least check it. At least recommend to check it. The fact that he didn't even get him to go and have a look means that it's a whole new clear and obvious. If that's not the most clear and obvious penalty, then what is?
That decision is really, or in my mind now, I mean, it's not just the Arsenal game. It's throughout the whole season for every single side. It is so inconsistent. If you look in Europe, we are the only league who is having issues with VAR. We are generally. People need to remember this. It's not VAR. It's not the little screen or the technology we look at. It's the officials behind it.
Yeah,
there's still officials 100%. who need to learn how to use VAR. It's so inconsistent at the moment, and it's so frustrating for
You're right.
Everyone.
Officials. It's also the rules, because some of these rules are absolutely stupid. David Luiz one, you have to intentionally play the ball. You get a yellow. No intention. You get sent off.
You know what's interesting? Saka made a challenge. Well, he didn't even make a challenge, but in that first half, the Burnley player had a kick at goal, and he kicked Saka's leg.
Yeah, that was the second half.
He's not made a chance to get. He's not made a attempt to play the ball. By the logic of the rule that David Luiz got sent off for and Bednarek gets sent off for, should that not be a penalty?
And a red card.
And a red card.
I'm loving watching Josh just crumble here. He's just in his seat.
I just can't make sense of it. And we're all football fans. We've all followed the game for so long. And usually you can sort of justify things or you can sort of see okay, I understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand how they've come to that decision. I genuinely can't process it or compute it anymore. It's got to that point it's not football anymore.
This is where we need, I don't know, I put a tweet out the other day saying, if you watch other sports, you've got rugby, you've got cricket, these video assistant have mics and they have ability to communicate to the viewers what's going on. I think it's key to have in football. You've got the whole bad language situation and people don't treat the refs with as much respect in football as you could say in rugby, but I think we really need to implement something where refs have a mic on and they can explain their decision and you can hear the conversation between the video assistant and the ref, so then we can get some sort of clarity as to how they've come from that decision, so that can help the viewers and also can be transparent so we know that there's not anything funny going on, because let's be real, it could happen. We just need having that transparency, I think, is extremely important for viewers.
Yeah, I don't mind the Arsenal conspiracy idea. It's nonsense, right? There's no conspiracy against certain clubs, but when you look back and review some of the decisions, it's not a conspiracy, but we can feel very hard done by. I don't know if you've seen it. There was a thread put on Twitter by the account ArsenalVavel, which we'll link in the description to this, and we'll send a tweet out about it. You look at those, you're like, whoa, there's so many instances of clear decisions against us that really should have got our way. I mean, there's not enough time to go into all of them.
I can probably name 5 off the top of my head from last season and 5 from this season.
But
my mind goes back to the Crystal Palace game we played at home 2 seasons ago, I think it was.
Aaron Chambers
gets the ball. He gets absolutely clattered in the box. Socrates then smashes it home for us to go through to. And the referee said, the VAR said that Chambers fouled someone in that instance. Josh is just having a complete meltdown.
In fairness, it isn't us. We are seeing it from an Arsenal perspective, but it's not just Arsenal. Let's be fair. Fulham were absolutely robbed a couple of nights ago against Spurs.
Twice in a row as well. You look at the West Ham one as well when Socek got sent off for lifting his arm up.
and the offside for Timo Werner in the Liverpool game.
Yeah,
I'm sure he looked half a yard on every single still, apart from the one they used where he was off.
But I heard because even who's the referee on BT Sport? What's his name? Forgotten it.
Peter Walton.
He disagreed with the referee, and I don't know if I heard it wrong, but there's a new rule for handball coming in for next season.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And apparently the decision was based off of the new rule that is coming in next season. Not the rule that is being used now.
Well, I didn't hear that.
I don't know if I heard it wrong, but I'm pretty sure that there's a new. Obviously, everyone knows there's so many new rules coming in next season, potentially with offside as well. But apparently, there's a new rule for handball, and Peter Walton said, if you were going off the new rule for next season, that wouldn't be handball. Apparently, because
but to be honest, it is.
What is handball now?
I know that's the thing. I'm so confused. In my mind, if I'm playing football, right, and I've got my arm out like that, the ball comes up, hits me in the area. I'm like, oh right, okay, fair enough. I instantly know that is a penalty. But
it's almost like playground rules. When you're at primary school, it's like, oh, it's ball to hand.
Yeah. Generally.
What might happen What might happen from next season is we see many less penalties. Yeah. I mean, it's going to happen. There's going to be hardly any penalties, and you'll only see penalties given with red cards because it will be when someone deliberately blocked the ball with their hand. Because in what other instance are you going to be giving a handball now? Because if this new rule is going to mean that players don't have to have their hands behind their back whilst they're defending and they can have that natural body shape, then, I mean, the amount of rules we've had this season, it's like it started off with if it hits above the short sleeve, below the short sleeve, it's a handball, we've heard. And now we've heard if it's in an unnatural body position, I mean, if that wasn't out from your unnatural, then I don't know.
Then someone calling a starfish. Someone's like, I don't know how Eric Peters has got away from pretending to be a starfish and hasn't conceded a penalty.
The biggest joke of it all, right, is 5 minutes later, the Burnley midfielder whacks in a Lacazette, who has his hands here like this, from about a yard out, and it gets given as a free kick. And I'm just like, how can you give that as a free kick and not give a penalty for what is it's here? It's him here.
Yeah, I know. He almost pats it down, doesn't he? He could have just patted it down and gone, oh no, that's not a penalty. It's all right. It's all right.
I mean, we have to say, on the other hand, you look at the Burnley one.
On the other hand,
Peters was sent off unfairly. We got a penalty given unfairly that got overturned. But again, he didn't go to the screen. And it's what's the point of having it if you're saying the referee still has control of the game completely, it's his decision, we're just advising. Why is every decision, sort of big decisions, I don't mean whose corner is it or something stupid, but every big moment referred to the screen. Because the screen's there for a reason. If you're going to sort of say, oh, we think this and you should, then don't have the screen, just get rid of it.
There was a period where they were using they were using the screen on a regular basis and it was working well. Yeah. Why stop? Why stop using the screen if it's being used well? Generally,
guys, you can see it.
Stop using something.
Guys, you can see it already. We're going to get to the Europa League final, and we're going to probably play Spurs, and we're going to lose in the 95th minute because of a handball penalty in the box. And I think I can say in advance here, for the blood pressure and safety of Josh, we will not do a podcast episode until the next day, just so we can calm down a little bit first.
But there's no VAR in the Europa League, is there? We didn't have it in our Benfica game, I don't think.
Well, no, there is, but they literally take one glance at it and go, oh,
it's
right.
much more efficient than the Premier League one.
Yeah, it's quite lenient, isn't it?
So they don't spend about 5 minutes making a decision. It's either like they look at it straight away and then it'll be like, yes, no.
Honestly, the 2 Aubameyang goals scored against Benfica, I wouldn't be surprised if they were ruled off for offside in the Premier League. In the Premier League, honestly.
The handball thing grinds my gears even more because I'm sure, or I am 100% sure that had handball not been a huge issue and had they not changed the law literally yesterday for next season, that would have been given. It's because everybody on Twitter looked at the Fulham one and went, that is not handball. There is no way in hell that is a handball.
Yeah.
And then they've decided, like, I don't know whether it's subconscious because they've gone, oh, everyone's complaining about handballs. We better start being more lenient with handballs. But it always seems to be the way with us. Like, we are we are the guinea pig for any excuse they run out. The David Luiz one, 2 hours later, Bednarik does the same thing.
And he gets overturned.
He gets sent off. You know, that's almost solidarity with the ref from earlier. And now it's like, oh, we've changed. I'm not surprised if they come out and say we've changed the handball to be more lenient now. Like, it's ridiculous.
There's another 3 games today, so it'll be interesting to see if there's any more handballs. And
yeah, I mean,
I'm hoping there is. I hope there is.
Even be the biggest controversy of the weekend.
I hope other teams get shafted by VAR as well.
Every team gets shafted by VAR. It's so useless having incompetent referee backed up by an incompetent referee who doesn't know how to use the screen properly. Like they will have it the other way around as well. So, you know, Kevin Friend will be on the pitch and whoever was reffing today will be in the VAR box. And you think, oh, he's done me a solid once. I'm not going to show him up by getting him to change his mind. It's ridiculous that they have such incompetence at such a high level. And then for VAR, they don't use impartial people. It's astounding.